Hello everyone, welcome back to another tier list. This time we got Pokemon Generation 2 Johto, which is the generation I actually started with. And I still stand by it's probably my favorite overall generation. Okay? It has some of my favorite Pokemon, a few. Um, yeah, we'll get to that. There are only 100 Pokemon this time, so this should go significantly quicker than the first gen. But let's go ahead and get started. We have the same, tier rankings, S, A, B, C, D, and F. Okay, we got 6. So we start with Chikorita, the Chikorita line, which is one of my favorite starter lines. Chikorita gets an A. I love that design. Bayleef is even better. And then fight me here, I'm giving Meganium an S. I have a huge soft spot for this line. A lot of people hate it and think the other two are better, and that's fine. But God, I love this line so much. Meganium gets an S because it's one of my favorite Pokemon. It is a top 10 Pokemon for me. Easy. Okay? Now the Cyndaquil, this whole line, honestly, like this Cyndaquil line, all A. Flawless, almost perfect set of Pokemon. I love the Cyndaquil line as well. But I just have a soft spot for Meganium and the Chikorita line. I have to give it, yeah. And then you got, okay, Totodile gets an A. I'm not the biggest fan of Croconaw, though, but Feraligatr does bring it back up and put it back to a B, though. But Totodile is so nice. If they could have, somehow made it better, I would have been okay with that. Feraligatr's fun, though. But Totodile's amazing. Now, Sentret and Furret. You know what? Sentret's going to get a C. And Furret will get a little bit higher of a C. I am not the biggest fan of either of these. Why can't I put it above Croconaw? There. Okay. I'm not the biggest fan of either of them, but they have a cute factor, and that's okay. Now, Hoot Hoot and Noctowl, you know what? I think they both get a B. I'm actually okay with both of their designs. Honestly, Hoot Hoot or Noctowl I do like a little bit better than Hoot Hoot, but their design is great, especially Hoot Hoot with where it's always standing on one foot, but it swaps between the two. I think that's pretty cool. Okay. Now here we go. Lediba and Ledian. Oh God, I don't know what I want to say about these. I don't like them. I'm gonna give Lediba a D, and Ledian looks a little bit better, but it's still a C. I just don't like them. They're kind of terrible, to be honest. But they aren't garbage designs, so I can't give them an F. Okay? We'll probably see another F here in a little bit. Spinarak and Ariados. Spinarak, it's a spider. It gets a C. Ariados, I'll give a little bit higher. I don't think I can justify giving it a B, though. I don't know. I just don't. And I'm not the biggest fan. I think there's better. Here we go. Crobat. Now, you saw what I gave Zubat and Golbat last ranking. Now, I actually really like Crobat's design a lot. I'm going to give it a low A. I actually think Crobat looks really good. Okay. Chinchou and Lantern. Chinchou and Lantern. I think I do like Chinchou a little bit better. Nah, I don't know. Actually, I'm going to put them both in B. I don't know which one I like better, but I actually think they're kind of cool. I do have they're an anglerfish. I think that's awesome. Okay, now we have a little bit of a run of baby Pokemon. Starting with Pichu. You know what? I actually really like Pichu. I think it's adorable. Honestly, this whole line is an A for me. Cleffa. I'm going to give... What did I give? I'm going to give Cleffa a really high C. Igglybuff is kind of dumb. I'm going to give Igglybuff a D. I don't really like Igglybuff. I think the other two are better. Togepi is adorable. I'm giving it an A. Now, I love Togetic a lot, honestly. And I've used it a few times, but, can I really justify giving it an A? I'm going to. You know what? I'm going to use my own personal judgment. I really like Togetic. Okay? Fight me. Alright, Natu and Xatu. Wow. Okay, Natu and Xatu. Natu's adorable. B. Okay? Xatu, I still think is cool, so it's going to be a B, but I would put it lower than Natu, though. Actually, you know what? Let's give Xatu a high C. let's drop it down to C. Okay, here we go. The Mareep line. Well, you know what? I absolutely adore Mareep. I think it's adorable. A tier, easy. Flaffy, not nearly as good. I still like this line a lot, so that alone is going to get it a B. Ampharos, on the other hand, is one of my favorite electric types. I think I have to give it an S tier, guys. I think it's one of the best electric types still, honestly, because it has bulk. Yeah, I think I have to give it S tier. Yeah, I think I do. Alrighty. Moving on, Blossom. I mentioned this last video. I prefer Blossom to the entire rest of the line, even though I've never really used any of them. I'm going to put it at like a high B. Because I think that design is great. I love that design. Alright, Marill and Azumarill. Yeah, I actually kind of like this line. I think they're both going to get B. I really can't... I have a soft spot for Azumarill after using it in an emulator playthrough of a game. I'd like to use it in an actual game at some point, because huge power Azumarill is oh my god. Yeah. Great. Alright, Sudowoodo, I'm going to give a C. I don't think it's absolutely terrible, but it is kind of dumb. But it's not this dumb. Yeah. Yeah, okay, Politoed. Politoed, I don't like quite as much as Poliwrath, but I'd still put it in like a high B. I guess I kind of understand, even though I don't think it fits with that line as much. I do understand because it's tadpoles turn into frogs and stuff. So, yeah, but it's just, I don't think it's that great, but I'll put it in B. The Hoppip line, this will be interesting. I actually think Hoppip, design alone, is a B. Skiploom is like a really high C, and then Jumpluff honestly is like lower, like mid C. Actually, you know what? I might put Skiploom at B as well, because I do think it has its charm. But like Skiploom isn't that cool. I don't. If they would have stuck with some kind of line like that, I would have been better, more okay with it. Okay, Aipom. I think Aipom is kind of dumb, honestly. Yeah, I think I'm going to give Aipom like a high D. I'm just not the biggest fan of Aipom, okay? I don't really like it. Now, the Sunkern line is terrible. But Sunkern's design is kind of adorable. So I'll give it a C. I hate Sunflora. I don't care what anybody says. Its design is alright, but it gets a D. I don't like Sunflora, okay? I don't. I'm sorry. Alright, Yanma, yeah, I'm gonna give Yanma like a really high C, honestly. I almost want to give it a low B. Yeah, okay, we'll give it a low B. It's a dragonfly, and I do like dragonflies. Okay, here we go. Wooper and Quagsire. I really like this line. I'm gonna give Wooper a B and Quagsire an A, because look at that face. Look at this happy face, okay? I can't, if I could, I don't want to zoom in and mess everything up, but like, he's so happy and I love him, okay? Alrighty, the evolutions. This is going to be an interesting one because Espeon is my favorite evolution, so it gets an S tier, okay? I love Espeon to death. It's my favorite evolution. What am I saying? Now, Umbreon is one of the best designed evolutions, but I don't like it as much as Espeon. I'm going to give it a really, really high A. Like borderline S tier, but I can't justify giving it an S tier. I do really enjoy the design, though. Oh my god. And it's bulky. Okay. Murkrow. You know, Murkrow isn't that bad, even though it's kind of useless in this gen. I'm going to give it a B. I actually really enjoy the design. I think it's kind of cool. Slowking. My dude. He gets like a high B. I prefer Slowking to Slowbro and Slowpoke. I love that hat, the Shelter of Knowledge. I love it. Misdreavus. Misdreavus I'm going to give a B. Not quite as good as the Ghost line from Gen 1, but it's still pretty cool. Unknown. There's 26 different ones. That alone is going to give them a high C. Otherwise, they're complete useless. Okay. I'm not going to give Unknown any lower than a C because it has every letter of the alphabet and exclamation and question mark, I think. I can't put it below. I can't put it... It is kind of trash, but you can get 26 different versions of it. I don't know. Okay, Wobbuffet. I'm going to give Wobbuffet a B. I actually kind of like Wobbuffet, especially the fan rumor that the tail is the real part of it and all that. I'm going to give it a B. I do think it's kind of cool, to be honest. All right, Girafarig. It's okay. I'm going to give it a C. I don't think it's that great. I like that it's a giraffe. Having a giraffe is really cool because there aren't really any other ones. I don't think they have any more at all. Yeah. Although I will say if they would have kept it the beta form, it would have been a lot better. Look up the beta form of Girafarig. I actually think that looks really cool. All right, Pineco and Forretress. Now this is an interesting one. Pineco, I'm going to give a C because a living Pinecone is just hilarious to me. I actually have a soft spot for Forretress, but I don't think I can justify giving it a B, but I'll give it a high C. Okay? I kind of dig Forretress, honestly, but like design-wise, it's not that great. All right, here we go. This is what I meant by a D tier, or F tier. I'm sorry, but Dunsparce sucks. In every sense of the word, the design sucks. It's useless. They've had so many opportunities to do something with it, like give it a Mega Evolution or something, and they don't even do that. It's like, what the hell? Okay? At least try to make it better. Nah, they don't care. Dunsparce sucks, okay? Dunsparce is trash. Okay, Gligar. I'm going to give Gligar a B. I actually kind of like Gligar, okay? Haven't really used it, though, but the design is kind of... Having a ground flying type is just kind of cool, okay? Here we go. Steelix. Steelix, I might get a lot of crap for this, but I'm going to give Steelix an A based on design alone. I actually kind of like the design of Steelix a lot, okay? I do kind of like it. Plus, it was one of the first steel types. I guess you could count Magnemite and Magneton as the first steel types because they were in Gen 1, but the first officially revealed steel type, I think. Alright, the Snubbull line. Huh. I'm going to give Snubbull a high C, and Granbull, I actually kind of like the design of Granbull a lot, so I'll give it a low B. Haven't really used these. Giving them the fairy subtype was kind of weird. I think they're normal fairy, or they're just pure fairy now. I don't remember. But, like, doing that seemed kind of odd to me. I mean, maybe the Snubbull kind of makes sense, but Granbull, I don't know. Alright, Quillfish. It's a puffer fish, but it looks kind of terrible. I'm actually going to put Quillfish in D. Another Pokemon they've had ample opportunities to do something with and to make it better, and they haven't. But it's not as trash as Dunsparce, okay? Okay, Scizor. I really like Scizor. I'm going to give it a high A, but I don't think it's as cool as Scyther. It's like borderline S tier with all of these right here, okay? I really like Scizor. Shuckle. I have a soft spot for Shuckle, even though I've never used him. I'm going to put him in C tier. He looks kind of terrible, but it's like the bulkiest Pokemon ever. I don't know. I have a weird soft spot for him. Just like this one, Heracross. Heracross is going in A. Heracross is one of my favorite bug types. Even though I've only ever used him in the GameCube games, in Colosseum once, okay? Otherwise, he's kind of a pain in the ass to get. In Gen 2, you have to headbutt trees, and he's a rare encounter. And as a kid, I never had the patience to do that. So I never really used him. But I do really like how it's designed. Plus, in the anime, I think he's adorable, okay? I love Heracross. Alright, Sneasel. Sneasel, I'm actually going to give a low B. I do prefer the evolution, which we'll get to here when we get to that. But for a while, it was kind of a useless Pokemon. But overall, like, you know, it's kind of a cool design. Alrighty, we got Teddiursa and Ursaring. This might be kind of weird, but I'm going to give Teddiursa an A. I adore that design, okay? And then in one of my playthroughs of, I can't remember if it's Colosseum or XD Gale of Darkness, me and a friend had a running joke that we called him the Beast because he would hit so hard. But on that note, I do think Ursaring's design isn't quite as good, but I still think it's fun, so I'm going to give it a high B as well here. I do prefer Teddiursa, though. All right, Slugman Magcargo. You know what? I actually kind of like the design of these. I'm gonna give them Bs just together. The only thing that's really added for me is the shell, so I feel like they're the same enough to be able to do that. They're fun. They're interesting. All right, Swinub and Piloswine. Okay, Swinub, I gotta give a B. It's an adorable little pig, round pig dude. He's adorable. Okay. Piloswine, on the other hand, I'm gonna give a C. I am not a fan of the design of this Pokemon. However, the evolution that comes in Sinnoh, we'll get to that. I do really like that one. Corsola, I'm going to give it a high C. Again, another Pokemon they could have done something with, but I think I prefer it to these two, to Quillfish and Dunsparce. I actually forget it exists sometimes. I forgot. The only other one is coming up here. All right, Remoraid and Octillery. I'm going to give Remoraid a C because it's just a fish. And honestly, like, Gen 1 has better fish. Octillery, because it's the first octopus, I'm going to give it a low B. I don't understand why it evolves into an octopus, but it's Octillery, and it has a move called Octazooka, okay? I don't know. I'm going to give it a B just on principle alone. Delibird, I'm going to give Delibird a high C design-wise. It's kind of useless, though, okay? Not much else to say about that. Mantine, I actually kind of have a soft spot for Mantine. I'm going to give it a B. I like that it's a Manta Ray. Kind of cool. Water flying, that's cool. Skarmory, oh god, this is a tough one. Skarmory's another one I always forget exists, okay? I'm going to give it a really high C, like up here somewhere. It's okay. I always attribute it more to Gen 3 for some reason. I don't know. But it's okay. It was the first Steel Flying type, but it wasn't that useful. Okay, the Houndour line. Houndour gets a high B. I really like Houndour's design. Houndoom, on the other hand, I don't think is quite as good. It'll get a high C. I do like that it's a Hellhound, but overall, I'm just not the biggest fan of its design. I've used it before, and it just doesn't impress me that much. I think there's better Dark and Fire types, okay? Alright, Kingdra. Kingdra gets a B. I prefer it. I think it's a little bit better than Seadra, which I put in B last gen for the last tier list. I think it's a little better. I actually kind of like Kingdra, okay? Alright, Phanpy and Donphan. Here we go. Phanpy alone, again, high B. I don't think I can justify giving... You know what? I think it's adorable. We're going to give it an A instead. I adore Phanpy. Donphan, on the other hand, is going to be like a low B. Still kind of cool, but like... with what they had with Phanpy, they could have done... I feel like they could have done a lot better. But look at him. He's adorable. Phanpy's adorable. Porygon 2. I'm going to put Porygon 2 at like a B. I like it slightly better than Porygon, the original. I think the smoothness helps a lot with that. But overall, this line is kind of okay. Stantler. On principle alone, I'm going to give it a B because it's a deer. It's a reindeer. And that nose. I have a soft spot for that big ol' honking nose, okay? Overall, it's not the best Pokemon. But hey, it's kind of adorable. Smeargle. I'm going to give Smeargle a C. Not a big fan of its design. I do like that it can basically learn any move with Sketch. But overall, I'm just not the biggest fan of it. But it's not this bad. Tyrogue, I'm also going to give a C. I know it's the pre-evolution to the Hitmonline, but like I think they could have done a little bit better. Hitmontop, I will give a low B, though. I think it's honestly my least favorite of all the Hitmon evolutions, but it's still not terrible. Alright, more babies. Okay, Smoochum. Smoochum, I just don't like this line at all. I'm going to give Smoochum a C. Elekid, I absolutely adore Elekid's design. That gets an A. I like that line a lot. Magpie I'll give a B. I actually do probably prefer... This is the only one I probably prefer this to the evolution. I think it's slightly better than Electabuzz. I prefer Pikachu over Pichu. I might prefer Togepi over Togetic as well. And then Magmar I prefer over Magby. Okay, here we go. Home stretch here, guys. Miltank. Miltank, because it's a big honking cow, I'm going to give it a B. I'm actually going to give it like a pretty high B, to be honest. I actually think design-wise it's pretty great, and it kicks your ass in the game. Whitney's Miltank is a pain in the ass. Blissey! Fight me. I love Blissy's design. I prefer it over Chansey, and I believe I gave Chansey a B. But Blissy's, I just adore Blissy's design so much, okay? This design is great. I adore this egg Pokemon Center. Yeah. Anyway, all right, we got the legendary dogs. Okay. Oh, this is going to be a tough one. I really like Raikou a lot. I'm going to give it a low A, and then Entei gets a high B, and Suicune I'm going to give a high B as well, above Entei. I don't know why I like Raikou the best for, again, an electric type that I like, but I don't think they're as good as the birds overall. They all have, the designs are nice, but just like Raikou, just something about Raikou stuck out to me for some reason. I don't know. Okay. Oh, this is going to be a fun one. I'm giving Larvitar a high A tier. I can't really justify giving it an S tier. I love Larvitar, though. Pupitar, I have a soft spot for Pupitar, and I get what they're trying to do with it, so I'm going to give it a low B, even though its design is kind of awful. Tyranitar, on the other hand, immediate S tier. One of my favorite Pokemon as well. I'm pretty sure it's based on Godzilla, okay? I just love Tyranitar. It's probably one of my favorite pseudo-legendaries, to be honest. I love that boy. It has too many weaknesses, though. All right. Moving on to my favorite legendary. Again, S tier for Lugia. Fight Me. I love those hand wings. Pokemon 2000 is my favorite Pokemon movie. I love its call. Its freaking Pokemon cry is one of my favorites. I'm sorry, guys. I love Lugia. Ho-Oh, on the other hand, I give a high B. I'd probably put it in between Suicune and Entei. I do like Ho-Oh's design. It is a really cool design, but just I don't know what it is about the Pokemon. I just don't like it as much as Lugia. And finally, Celebi. Celebi, I'm going to give an A, guys. Oh, no. You know what? Because I haven't used it, I'm going to give it a high A with Umbreon. I want to give it an S. Because of the damn movie, but no, I don't think I can. I don't think I can. And that hurts. That hurts a little bit. I do adore Celebi's design a lot. But I don't know if I can justify putting it up here without putting some of these up there too. But that's all of them. That is my definitive ranking of Generation 2 Pokemon. Only one F again. So my only Fs so far are Metapod and Dunsparce. We'll see if we get any more. Yeah. A lot more Bs in this one. I feel like I liked this generation a little bit better design-wise. Yeah. That's it. Leave it in the comments. Leave your opinions in the comments if I'm wrong or if I'm right. I'd like to hear from you guys. Again. But thank you for watching. We'll be back with Gen 3. Later, guys.